include commercial crimes such as fraud, forgery, artery, and theft. It is common knowledge that as a country, we are faced with serious challenges of corruption and related crime in both public and private institutions and sectors. For this reason, IDAC remains an important institution to help us deal with these challenges.
Good day, and welcome to Mzansi News Hub. A major shakeup has hit South Africa's anti-corruption landscape. Andrea Johnson's resignation has triggered a sweeping review inside IDAC, with 146 staff members now facing audits. If you value clear, reliable South African news, please like this video, subscribe to Mzansi News Hub, and turn on the notification bell. Now, let's get into today's story.
Of this media briefing is to outline the steps we are taking to restore stability, public confidence, and ensure operational continuity at the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption. As you may be aware, or already aware, President Cyril Ramaphosa accepted a request from Advocate Andrea Joshon to resign with immediate effect beginning of this week. We believe this gives us an opportunity to reposition and focus IDAC, but we also understand and appreciate that South Africans are within their rights to call for accountability and protection of our institutions. The recent revelations about the former head of IDAC, Ms. Andrea Joshon, and some of the investigators within IDAC has led to calls from some sections of society and political parties for IDAC to be disbanded. And we think these calls are without foundation and therefore cannot be supported. Those who are making these calls must disabuse themselves of the tendency to reduce institutions to individuals. Individuals in organization come and go, but institutions remain, and we must defend and protect institutions because they are formed to fulfill a societal need rather than the agendas of individuals. Individuals within institutions who either abuse their power or violate their oath of office or deviate from operational norms and standards.
Listen carefully to what the minister says next. This was not presented as one isolated mistake by Andrea Johnson. The government says individuals inside IDAC deliberately departed from written procedures to achieve their own goals.
What has also come to light is that there are individuals who deliberately and have deliberately been deviating from established norms and standards, deviated from written standards and standard operating procedure to achieve their own goals and ends within IDAC. It is ability mechanisms that we must strengthen in institutions so that there is no impunity and elements that can undermine our work, and they have to be dealt with decisively. You will recall that 3 weeks ago, myself and the NDPP launched the Office of IDAC Oversight, that is currently led by Judge Takalani Rowling, which its task is investigating complaints or any alleged improper conduct or any conduct which has resulted in an improper or prejudice on the part of any person by IDAC. This office will strengthen accountability, safeguard public confidence, and uphold the integrity of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption. In addition to the oversight, IDAC requires internal operational improvements to strengthen accountability, efficiency, and effectiveness. We have commenced with a process aimed at facilitating a comprehensive reset of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, aimed at rebranding and repositioning the Directorate to enhance its effectiveness, strengthen its institutional identity, and ensure its long-term success in delivering on its mandate. The NDPP, who will outline in detail some of the issues as we deal with this media briefing, has communicated that the various activities are underway to rebuild trust and public confidence, which include the following amongst others. Under Human Resource Management and Development, the branch has been tasked to commence with a process of analyzing the job profiles against CVs of the people who are holding the positions in IDAC. This analysis of all 146 staff members in IDAC will be completed by the 14th of August 2026. All employees in IDAC will undergo lifestyle audit as a matter of agency.
Head of IDAC going to be held accountable. And not just her, all those where there is evidence pointing to wrongdoing, they will be held to account. Everyone where there's evidence pointing to wrongdoing, there will be consequence management. We are following on the Madlanga Commission, and we do get information that, amongst others, enables us to identify those that we need to act on. So the accountability spectrum, and the list may not be exhaustive. Right. We hold you accountable as an employee, right? And you know that Advocate Joshon has resigned. That obviates the question of holding her accountable as an employee. Those that are found wanting and those that have contributed to wrongdoing will be held to account even though they've resigned. Now, another aspect of the spectrum of accountability is that if there's evidence pointing to criminal action, and you may have followed on the Madlanga Commission, even Advocate Joshon herself indicating that, and that's why she has opted not to answer some of the questions, because there's investigations that are underway. So we will pursue those so that they're investigated appropriately. You're saying, can I say here whether Advocate Joshon is being investigated? She has said so herself. So I can confirm, and I think it's the investigating officer McLean testified at the Madlanga Commission that there is a case that he is investigating. He came to NPA to get a prosecutor allocated to guide the investigation, right? And that investigation looks at the allegations which were made against Advocate Joshon. That's the one, at least, that I can say here. It's been publicly stated. So we will guide that investigation in the normal run. In the normal run of the process, the investigation will be guided. When the docket is ready for prosecutorial decision, the investigating officer will submit it in the normal.
Those were the consequences. Now we go inside the testimony that helps explain why the NPA decided to inspect every employee, every authorization, and every case. It begins with one disputed affidavit.
That the Section 27 affidavit that was flighted at the Commission was not the Section 27 affidavit I had shown him on the morning of the 6th of December 2024. I will return to why I showed the Section 27 affidavit to Mr. Rapesu in violation of Advocate Johnson's instructions not to show the affidavit to anyone. I have not seen the Section 27 affidavit after the 6th of December 2024. After I had returned it to Advocate Joshon. What I recall of its contents is based on my memory, but as the Commission will see, there are certain contemporaneous recordials by me that somewhat corroborate my recollection of the contents of the Section 27 affidavit. For convenience, I will deal with the Section 27 affidavit that I was given on the 5th of December 2024 compared to the Section 27 affidavit that was flighted before the Commission in tabular form. Page 16.
So what we then have is a table with, on the left, the Section 27 affidavit that was given to you on the 5th of December versus on the right, the Section 27 affidavit that was flighted at the Commission, which is 512 to 516 of File 2 of the exhibit bundle.
Correct.
So at number 1, you can start there.
Thank you. The Section 27 affidavit seen on the 5th of December 2024 referred to Orlando Cas, I am not going to read it into the record, and a Valeria Cas. The Section 27 affidavit flighted at the Commission, page 512 to 516, listed Cape Town Cas dockets. 2. Major General Modondo failing a polygraph test while seeking security clearance. Although
Maybe for the record, you're unfortunately going to have to repeat the heading.
Okay, not a problem.
I think you can just say the section affidavit you saw, then say that is what it contained, and then say the flighted one, this is what.
Noted. The one that I saw, Major General Modondo failing a polygraph test while seeking security clearance was prominent or noted. On the one that was flighted, although vetting is mentioned, it is in a different context and no mention is made of a polygraph test. The one that I had seen, number 3, allegations of procurement irregularities within crime intelligence regarding the procurement of a forklift. On the one flighted, there's no mention of a forklift. Number 4, on the one that I had seen, multiple allegations of alleged criminal conduct by the Political Killings Task Team, such as procurement of vehicles, excessive budget for laundry using the Secret Service account. This is not mentioned on the 27 flighted. Number 5, vehicles that were procured for the PKTT being used by the former Minister of Police, Mr. Cele, for his personal use. This is also not on the one that is flighted. Number 6, purchasing of hotels, lodges, or properties using the Secret Service account, also not mentioned on the one flighted.
Okay. Paragraph 37.
Because if the commissioners have to marry what has transpired with the arrests versus what is contained in that 27, there's great discrepancies. It's devastating. And in part 2 of, within this statement and in part 2, I will demonstrate how the commission has been hoodwinked.
May I ask you to read the last sentence of paragraph 5? You did not read the have, if I'm not mistaken. And
Paragraph 5 in the...
45, the last sentence starting if she.
Thank you. If she disagreed with the contents of my email, she would surely have responded either directly to the email or via WhatsApp.
Okay, we're just trying to locate the WhatsApp screenshot. I know that it had been provided to us where Advocate Johnson responds, and it should be in the exhibit bundle, but for some reason it's not in the electronic version, but we'll come back to it later. But we have seen it. Can we then go to the next topic, subtopic, explanation of the names of suspects in the Section 2813 authorization?
Paragraph 46. Another issue that warrants special mention is the issue raised by the Commission about the lack of substantiation of the names of the suspects listed in the Section 2813 authorization. As indicated when Advocate Johnson instructed me to prepare the application for the Section 2813 authorization, she gave me a list of suspects' names on the pink, purple notepad page. This has consistently been my version. Paragraph 47. On the 22nd of July, 2026.
It's the 22nd, yes, so there is a correction. Yes. The statement says 21, but it was 22.
Thank you. The Commission asked Advocate Johnson to explain the source relied upon for the names that appeared in the suspects on the Section 2813 authorization. As stated earlier, I got the names from Advocate Johnson, together with the Section 27 referral affidavit. Advocate Johnson undertook to make inquiries. Later that day, at approximately 3:10, while I was consulting with the Commission's evidence leader, Advocate Johnson called me. And the call was recorded. The Commission is in possession of the recording because Advocate Johnson had already scapegoated me in her testimony before the Commission, and I felt I needed to record our conversation. In the recording, I explained how the names ended up in the Section 2813 authorization based on the names she gave me. At the stage of the recording, At the start of the recording, Advocate Johnson made a startling remark that we gotta figure out how you don't go. In other words, find a way for me not to testify before the Commission. I want to make it clear that Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal launched an orchestrated attack on General Masiamula and General Kumalo using IDAC's powerful investigation tools.
Sorry, as I understand this, correct me if I'm wrong, the attacks were made at the meeting or not?
I make the statement.
Or do you mean they were made as the investigation was going on?
I think when my second statement is before Chair, for the 22nd of January, Chair will understand the clear picture, including the notes.
Okay.
But I don't make a statement of this nature lightly.
All right. No, thank you.
Can I also just seek clarification? So when you say an orchestrated attack from the 6th of December, you are referring to the investigations themselves being an orchestrated attack?
Correct.
Okay, and when you say using IDAC's powerful tools, it is the tools that one finds in Section 28, for example, the investigation itself.
28, 6, and 7 specifically, which has no judicial oversight but is signed. And if I may give an example, yesterday Chair was very concerned about a 28 that was sent with regards to Fadil Adams' arrest and who made the arrest. Had that been a Section 205 of the Criminal Procedure Act, an affidavit explaining the request would have been accompanied, and a magistrate would have interrogated the reasons.
Okay. Go to page 22, paragraph 51.
Paragraph 51. Everything about the process was concerning. 51.1. The speed with which everything had to be done without any evidentiary basis, and in certain instances, against my strict instructions to the investigators. The makeup of the team, while Mr. Manilal was designated as the Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, he had no involvement in the matter. I was the only prosecutor who had to report directly to Advocate Johnson. Mr. Sissoko, who for all intents and purposes is the Chief Operating Officer of IDAC, was not aware of the matter. The lack of evidence on the Mokwele matter, I distinguish this matter from the Lushaba matter, where there was a prima facie case. But in my view, I questioned whether it was within IDAC's mandate to investigate the Lushaba matter. The timing of certain decisions and actions. Paragraph 52. Returning to the meeting, it was a short meeting. Advocate Johnson informed us that she will be supervising the matter personally, like she had done in the July 2023 referral. As will become evident, Advocate Johnson was not merely supervising. She was dictating key decisions throughout the investigation. Before we left Advocate Johnson's office, she said that the dockets had to be collected that day and instructed me to draft a written request immediately for her signature. And she repeated that the dockets must be collected today. I did not understand the urgency.
Before you do that, let me put this, whose answer may be obvious, but let me put it to you and for your comment, if you want to. With this summons, the 50 million rand summons, we know it's not in the Section 27 affidavit.
Correct.
That you have seen.
Correct.
And it's not in the one that was flighted here, that is dated November. We know that.
Correct.
And it's not in any of the A1 statements, and there's no affidavit, at least before us yet. And you say earlier that it's nowhere, it's not in any documents. It seems to me, and this is what I want you to comment on, it seems to me that either Advocate Johnson or Chief Perumal, because they're the two people that you say were intimately dealing with this, the two of them would have or must have received information, if they did, about the 50 million rand. It's about to be moved from a secret service account. That and they have a list of bank details of General Lushaba. That kind of information, if indeed they had it, would have had to have come from someone at Crime Intelligence, because we are talking about funds being moved from a Crime Intelligence account. Is that a fair summation?
It's the same conclusion that I came to.
You drew that conclusion
I drew the
too?
same conclusion.
Okay.
That because upon discussing, well, I had drawn that conclusion from the prepare it. In the meantime, I have my reasons, and from the conversation with Mr. Perumal saying that the ID has received information. And when I had discussed it prior to going into Advocate Johnson's office with Mr. Rapesu asked me, and I said to him, you are now placing me in a very difficult situation, so can you please ask the ID in the meeting? He asked me if he gets asked about this 28 and why it was done so prematurely and on what basis, because he, and so was I, of the opinion that it was unlawful to proceed with the 28. He said to me, is she going to come and testify that she received the information? Is she going to file an affidavit that she received the information? So there was a lot of discomfort and annoyance about this whole instruction.
And to your knowledge, did anything further happen about this 50 million rand investigation? If it was an investigation, I mean, we see in the summons, she says that she has authorized the Section 28(1)A investigation. So let's assume, for present purposes, that's what happened. Did anything further, to your knowledge, happen about this part?
Prior to me being removed, there was a lot of distrust, discord. As I stated before, if you went against what Perumal was wanting to do, you were attacked by Advocate Johnson. So at that point, I was currently at the target. I was literally the bullseye for that attack. And in the meeting, I had asked specifically, what has happened with those? And because I knew that Advocate Johnson had given instructions to the whole team that once it's received, it must be given to the financial investigator, Mr. Venan, that was designated on the matter. So in April, and if memory serves, it was in the meeting of the 24th of April, 2025. Yes, it was. It is in the notes. I had asked what was this about, and where are we with this investigation? What has been done? To the extent that Venant had not been given the USB. Perumal denies knowledge of the 28s being done. I had to file a subsequent affidavit as a prosecutor for one of those internal investigations that I explained earlier. And in that affidavit, it is part of part 2. It explains how angry I got that it had not been handed over. When it was handed over late September, just before I got removed from the matters, I think it was it would have been August because I was removed on the 2nd of September last year. Venant indicated that he found 3 suspicious transactions, but he was still investigating them. There was no conclusive proof, and they were 50,000.
46 employees' positions and qualifications, ordering lifestyle audits, examining every IDAC case, and reviewing whether people were correctly charged. Johnson has left the institution, but the criminal investigation continues, and the NPA says resignation will not protect anyone found to have broken the law. The question now is not only what happened under Andrea Johnson. The bigger question is how many IDAC investigations, arrests and prosecutions may have been contaminated by the same system. Tell me what you think in the comments. Was this incompetence, abuse of power, or something much darker?